Amari Cooper, guys. Yikes. Amari Cooper, we left here Friday. That wasn't on our radar.
He got hurt Friday.
He got hurt in Friday's practice. It's a groin. I've read different things. I've read minor, but also I think it was Adam Schefter used the word unexpected to play. I always thought it was not expected to play.
That was really weird.
Unexpected, I guess, could work. I think the preferred is not expected, but whatever. The preferred is that he plays. And I've also seen reports that because it's not so bad that he could go. So I don't know where we are on this.
Typically in situation when Schefter's reporting that, it's coming most likely, I don't know who he's talking to, but most likely
High up.
It's his agent. Schefter's talking to the agent.
Yeah.
A lot of the other people are talking to the team. Of course, the team wants to keep the veil of secrecy of whether or not he's going to play or not, just for strategic purposes and for competitive advantage reasons. But I tend to lean Schefter on this because he's more than likely talking to Cooper's side of it.
Yeah.
And in which case, they're always going to err on the side of caution. You
Sure.
know? And so I don't expect him to play. I haven't talked to anyone, like full disclosure, I haven't talked to anyone, but I don't think
let's
he'll play.
let's just for this
I think we got to
conversation.
assume he's not going to play.
No, I know it's tough,
Yeah.
but for the sake of this conversation,
Yeah.
because the most recent report was he's not expected to play, and as you said, that's coming from a guy who's one person removed from the player himself. What impact does it have on the Browns' game plan against Pittsburgh tonight if he doesn't play? Clearly, he's wide receiver one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it obviously has an impact, just like the way Deontay Johnson has an impact for Pittsburgh.
Right.
The difference is that the Browns have a much better quarterback, and to me, this is like we've talked about. We need to see Deshaun Watson have his big game. I know you think he's gonna have a big game. I think he's gonna have a good game. You think he's gonna have a big game. But that's why you get a quarterback like Deshaun Watson.
Next
because
man
when you
up.
have a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, it shouldn't be a huge deal that Amari Cooper's out. It's a deal. It's certainly a deal. When you're missing your best wide receiver, it's a deal. But if you have the quarterback, it shouldn't be an overwhelming deal.
Right.
That's what I'm expecting to see. Hey, Donovan Peoples-Jones, be ready. Elijah Moore, be ready. Cedric Tillman, you're in the mix. You're the third receiver this week.
I actually thought David Bell was the first name I thought. I was like, okay,
Well, maybe David. I don't know.
Here's your chance. Here's your chance, David Bell. Go make a play.
Wow, we saw one target last week right in his breadbasket.
And he dropped it. I know, but
Those are hard to. I can't forget those.
I'm with you.
And I don't know that the quarterback. If I was the quarterback, I wouldn't be able to forget it either.
Especially when your hands are what's supposed to have gotten you in the league.
Catch the ball. You're a wide receiver.
Like, Anthony Schwartz, we knew drops were part of it. It was the speed that got him to the league. David Bell is supposed to be his hands.
Yeah.
So if he's dropping those, but it was one pass. I'm not going to give up on a guy because of one pass.
Do you think that he would be 3 tonight over Tillman?
Or is Marquise Goodwin the 3?
I think Marquise Goodwin. There's a package of plays for Marquise.
He's like not even. He's like just separate to the side.
Yeah, he's almost like different.
He's
You don't
the
want to call him a
specialist.
4, 5, or 6.
Right.
Does the situation call for it?
Yeah.
He's the one.
Yeah.
He's the only guy that can do what he does.
I would like to see Cedric Tillman as the 3, but I don't know. I
I
if he's
agree
gonna
with
be.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully he can take that slot.
I think this means nothing.
Nothing.
That's
Wow.
hard, that's hard to say.
I like that.
That
Is there
is-
Kool-Aid in that shirt?
Yes, it is. It's all up
Now,
in
is
him.
it mixed in with it and it automatically goes into your pores?
It's like you
Right
ever
into the
see-
bloodstream.
you
It's
ever
like an
see-
IV.
It's like you ever seen Bane from Batman? How
Yeah.
he has the mask on,
Yeah.
where it gets nerve toxins. It's Kool-Aid in there. It just goes.
Yeah, I like that.
And it just goes in there.
I'm Kool-Aid.
Yeah, Kool-Aid. Don't you get me started on that.
Yeah,
Kool-Aid.
that could work, bro.
That could work. That
could work.
Hey, but I'll say this: the reason I say it really don't matter is because now it does matter, and if you want to, in the scheme of things, the big picture don't, because Deshaun Watson is going to spread anyway. We talked about it today. We talked about it yesterday or last week. He's going to spread the football around. He's not looking for specifically one person. And if you go back to look at the Houston Texans, they didn't have really no really big name receivers. They had Brandon Cooks in a couple of years when he was throwing the football.
They had Hopkins for a couple of those years.
Hopkins
Yeah.
for a couple of those years, but he's traditionally going to throw the ball to a lot of different people, and this is an opportunity for people to step up. DPJ, he's capable. Elijah Moore is very capable. It just means to me that you got to get creative with Elijah Moore a little bit. You got to get him more touches now, because there's no excuse because Amari Cooper ain't here. David Njoku is supposed to be a guy who's.
I'm thinking about a big game for him tonight.
Yeah,
I
big
am too.
game for big
I am
game
too.
for him. So for me, Deshaun Watson, and I like it a little bit because that means he even more dialed in. He knows he don't have his number one target. So in his mind, he's thinking, okay, I got to be much more crisp. I got to be on time with my stuff. I got to make sure I got a clock going off. I don't give up no unnecessary sack. So to me, I think it just motivates him a little more, and I still think he has a big game.
Jace?
I think either Njoku or sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Elijah Moore.
Thank you, Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
One of those two, I think, is in line for the bulk of the targets, I would
they
think,
become
coming
the
off
one.
of this. Yeah, they would become the one. I'm just looking at the trickle-down effect down the line of who's the guy that's going to emerge, and I kind of think it might be David Bell.
Yeah.
It could be Tillman, but I think it might be David Bell. But, I mean, I'm not expecting David Bell to have 6 catches for 85 yards tonight, obviously.
Yeah, it's hard to, I think, like you, Bull, I don't think it's going to be one guy that replaces his production. Now, look, he had 3 catches for 37 yards last week. So it's not like you're going to look at that and say, oh, my God, where are they going to throw the ball?
Right.
He threw passes to 8 other guys. What I loved was he completed a pass to all 3 of his tight ends. Mm-hmm. That's telling. That means that the Browns and Watson have faith in all 3 of those guys being interchangeable. I think that's key. I also think that I want Tillman to be the guy just because physically he looks the part.
Yeah.
I want to.
And I think the pedigree is there, and I think that I think he is going to be a productive wide receiver in the NFL. Is this the game that he steps forward and shows that pedigree? I don't know. I want him to be the guy, so it's almost clouding my judgment. For me, I say Tillman over Bell because I can't forget the drop.
I want to go back and look at the snap counts from last week because I feel like Tillman wasn't on the field very much.
He was not on the field much. Yeah,
And I think
that's just I don't know what the numbers said, but by my memory,
mine
I don't
too.
remember seeing him out there a lot.
A handful of snaps at most.
Now, ordinarily, I'd say Marquise Goodwin is Patrick Peterson is a starter for the Steelers, right?
He is.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out just how much removed Patrick Peterson is from Patrick Peterson, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Like, how far has his star fallen? I didn't watch them closely enough last week against San Francisco.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's clearly can't be the same guy that he once was.
Right.
But he's experienced, and I think that's telling. But I think Marquise Goodwin, having Minka Fitzpatrick back there for the Steelers probably changes the Browns' thinking on just taking deep shots with Marquise Goodwin. We saw he was open twice last week. He got behind the defense. What that told the other 31 teams in the league, oh, okay, this guy still has world-class speed. We can't forget about him. There may have been a little bit of write-off factor last week to Marquise Goodwin because a week before the season started, we all thought his career was over. So maybe perhaps opposing defenses did too. So I'm not sure that Goodwin will be a factor like he was last week. Not that he was a big factor, but he had a chance to score 2 touchdowns in that game if the ball was on target. So I think, again, yes, I do think that Deshaun Watson's going to have a good game. He completed, we remember all the short throws and the misses last week. He completed 55% of his passes in a game where the conditions were constantly wet. The ball was wet and heavy the entire game. So he wasn't awful. I think he's going to be markedly better tonight. He's going to continue to spread the ball around. I took my Browns point total down 3 because of this. So I don't think it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
I think there will be points in the game where we need to move the sticks,
Yeah.
where he would ordinarily look for Cooper. He won't be there. He's going to have to find someone else.
Here's an interesting stat, by the way. Let me give you a stat real quick, Mike. Amari Cooper traditionally is way better at home than on the road. They're on the road tonight, right? Even if you look specifically at last year, Amari Cooper in road games last year averaged 3 catches for 55 yards per game in road games. So he's not really been
I like
a factor
the
on the road.
55-yard part.
I mean, that's not really that
That's not
good.
a ton.
No, it's not. But would you take 55 yards tonight against the Steelers?
Sure, but
as opposed to losing it?
In home games last year, he averaged 6 catches for close to 85 yards.
That's unusual because that was his first year.
God,
So
it
what
really is
different-
unusual. It's not like he's...
And
It's his whole career,
His
though.
whole career, he's been that
It's
way.
not just last year.
odd.
Yeah.
It's been his whole career. I don't
Now,
know
what
why
about...
that is.
Okay, so maybe he loves the home crowd and the adulation. I wonder if there's a number for primetime games on Amari Cooper.
Sure there is.
Does he love to step up in the bright lights and when the crowd is, the national crowd is there? I don't know. Mikey, we threw 2 questions out, not sure on numbers, and you said you looked them up. What are they?
I got him. Yeah, so snap counts last week. David Bell played 10 snaps. Marquise Goodwin played 10 snaps. Tillman played 11. So essentially all the
Tillman
same,
was
but
more.
Tillman did
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that.
play an extra snap.
I feel like I only saw Tillman out there 2 or 3 times, but
Yeah.
obviously I missed the
There was
others.
one point where I'm like, where's Tillman?
Yeah.
I just hadn't seen him.
And then for your Patrick Peterson, once again, PFF grades not everything.
No, right.
last season was his highest coverage grade according to PFF ever. He had an 80.7 overall grade, an 82.5 coverage grade.
Okay, that's superb.
And the only other grade that was ever higher was in 2018 with Arizona by 0.2.
What was his grade in San Francisco last week?
63.
Okay.
One game sample, but
not
as good.
No, I know. He's got to worry about Deebo Samuel. He's got a lot of things to worry about with San Francisco.
And then for Amari Cooper, by the way, fascinating. 62 career home games, 64 career road games. So 2 more road games than home games. At home, he has 322 career catches. On the road, just 276. He has 1,200.
Well, that's 50 fewer. Over 60 games, that's not even one catch a game less.
2 fewer games. He has 1,200 more yards at home in 2 fewer games than he does on the road.
Yeah.
And touchdowns, he has 34 touchdowns at home, 21 on the road.
He is though better at night. In night games, he's averaged almost 73 yards per game, which is better than 1 o'clock games.
And I imagine he's played a lot of primetime games because Cowboys, it seems, are always playing with lights on.
He's played 29 primetime games in his career.
You know what? We tripped bad.
Almost 2 seasons.
I forgot to say this. We didn't even mention the X factor.
Who's that?
That's that Nick Chubb. Like, what I want to see in the pass game, one of the things that I haven't seen since about 2020 is the Browns screen game. If you go back and watch that year, the Browns screen game was prolific. There's a lot of runs and a lot of plays that Nick Chubb made with run after the catch because he has those linemen in front of him and he's a bowling ball and he has the speed to break it. If you go back and watch, just the other day I was rewatching the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Browns trying to get ready for it. It was the playoff game. And in 2020, the play that really sealed it because Pittsburgh was coming back.
Yeah.
The play that sealed it was a screen pass to Nick Chubb that he took to the house for about 40 yards. And I just haven't seen the screen game in a long time. I think he could be a really big part of that, especially if you got defensive ends that are getting upfield like TJ Watt that are aggressive. Those guys are going to be trying to get upfield against Jed Wills and DeJuan Jones.
TJ Watt has a number of times in his career when I've been playing him, been in heavy pass rush, and when the ball is released, immediately turns around, runs upfield, and makes the tackle because his motor never stops.
That's called.
So he is a guy that will double back and get you from the backside.
Yeah, so you got to switch it up. If he's on the right side, I'm calling what I would do. You fake a tunnel screen that way because he's on that side of the field and sneak the back out the other way on the opposite side of the field.
Make it so he's got further to
Make
go.
it so he has to do something. So, you know, to me, I think that'll be a big part of the game. And plus, you can still lean on the run game as well. So I don't think it'll be that big of a deal.
We're not sure who it's going to be in terms of the number 3 tonight. But how confident are we? We'll break out our confidence meter 1 to 10. What's your confidence level in these receivers, in this core, minus Amari Cooper?
Are we pass catchers, like including Njoku, or just receivers?
Everybody. So in the passing game,
Yeah.
if you were an 8 before with these guys, you know, where were you before? Where are you today? How much does it dink your confidence meter?
I would say I probably was a 7.5 before.
Okay.
And now I'm a 6.
Oh, so it comes down that much.
6.5.
Okay.
We said all offseason, if Amari Cooper goes down, what does this receiving core look like, right?
We did.
I mean, that was
We talked about that as a nightmare scenario.
Absolutely. Now, listen, this doesn't sound like this is the end of the world. If he does miss tonight, it's probably a one-game type thing, although they are on a short week. But the problem with groins is a lot like with the Burrow injury with the calf. They linger.
Yeah,
and
they
it just
do.
takes one small tweak or one small move, as we saw in practice on Friday, and now he's laid up again. So while I certainly don't think this is anything catastrophic, I do think it's something we're going to have to watch throughout the year. So I'm kind of with Bull. I'm in that sort of 6 range. I think I was probably 7 before and probably a 6 now. I didn't overly love these guys to begin with as a whole. But when you lose your top dog, your number 1 guy, and you've got a lot of unproven guys behind him, yeah, of course it's going to
So if you're giving
erode your
man ratings
confidence.
before to the Browns receiving core, what was it then? What is it now?
And I had Amari Cooper probably like an 88. They had him on. He was a 90 on the game.
Right.
I say he about 88. Your second best receiver, I would probably say, is Elijah Moore, just because of his speed rating. So I think Elijah Moore is maybe 81. DPJ is probably at 79 or 80. And
So when you lose the biggest number from that group, your number's going to go down.
yeah, so overall, the receiving core, I would say the receiving core is probably like a 74, 75 overall.
Now.
Now.
Yeah, I would have had before, I would have put it in the 75 to 77, not quite 80 range, mid to high 70s. Now I'd say it's low 70s. So I'm not dinking them 15 percentage points because they lost their number one, but it's a big miss. Look, it's their number one.
And it's more on Watson. It's more on Watson to make it easier for the other guys.
Well said. Like now he's got to be sharper.
Yeah.
He's got to be better. He's got to find his receivers. I love the next man up mentality. I mean, a lot of times coaches say next man up and they believe we're going to be okay. I think this is one of those situations. There are other times when they say next man up, and when you go from Aaron Rodgers to Zach Wilson, next man up ain't gonna cut it.
I got these group of friends real quick. I know we'll talk a little bit about it later. But a group of friends that I've been playing fantasy football with forever. Most of them are friends from New York. Over the years, we've brought in a guy from Chicago and California.
Right.
But it's mostly guys from New York.
Jets fans
so there's a lot of Jets and Giants fans. And they're on there before the game like, Jets are still going to the playoffs. I'm like, you guys are crazy. Yeah. Now, one game doesn't prove the Jets are not going to the playoffs, but come on.
Neither does one game prove they are going to the playoffs.
Sure.
There's a reason they brought Aaron Rodgers in the first place.
You're
now
right.
they're right back where they and now they're right back where they were.
You can stand in front of the camera all week long and all you want say it's next man up.
Right.
Right.
But when you're alone with your face, when you're shaving in the morning, you're looking at the mirror going, oh, damn. I mean, this isn't actually a next man up scenario.
A few spots where that doesn't work.
Yeah, and I don't think this is one of them.
No,
I don't.
No.
I think the Browns have enough depth there where they can cover the base.
Y'all might think I'm crazy for this because this is uncharacteristic of me, but I've always been jealous and petty on certain things, right? So, back in the day when people used to give gym shoes, I used to make a note of it. I'm like, when I get older, I don't care who I marry, I'm buying all them gym shoes for what my mom did to me. She didn't let me have them. When I was watching games this week, for some reason in my mind, I kept counting how many quarterbacks was throwing for three. I saw Daniel Jones put up 3-something.
Yeah.
I saw Baker put up 3-something. I seen Matt Stafford put up 3-something.
Jared Goff.
Jordan Love putting up 3-something. I said, hold on now.
Even Sam Howell had 299.
Love had like 150, didn't he? Love didn't play.
Commanders are 2-0.
The first game.
The first game.
Yeah, first game.
First game.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting around looking like,
Where's our 300?
I feel kind of. I want my 300 too. I want my.
Let's get it.
Let's hope Deshaun Watson wants those sneakers back.
Hey, bro, let's get this 300, man.
Yeah.
Like look, it's a perfect opportunity. It's right here in front of you. We know y'all want to smoke, and we know you got a better team. Yeah. But we need to start. I want to see them numbers rolling.